Hello, cosplayer friends. It is I, Kane, once again on an extremely dreary Friday afternoon. And I'm about to start getting to work on something because today is the day of deadlines. I am late. I have some Christmas presents I have to finish, but I've also been working on a sword, and I wanted to show you something because fixing a boo-boo on a paint job can be a pain in the bobo. Alright, hopefully the light is adequate enough in here for you. So what I have here is a sword. One of the many swords that I work on here. And I'm making a nice chrome blade, but in order to get it chromed and smooth, you got to meet certain conditions. And it looks like yesterday when I painted this, those conditions were not met. One thing I did is I had a drip right here. So I have permanently dry drip line right here, and that has to be fixed. Not only that, it seems like dust got onto the blade. Well, that's got to be sanded and fixed. Luckily with a sword or paint job like this, it's just a simple process of sanding. Now I'm going to get this just right in the camera angle so you can see some of these details. Now that's a spot right there that I want to get out. Get nice close to you, right there. Okay, so this is 220 grit sandpaper. You can use higher grit, but 220 for a sword like this or a paint job like this will really start to get a lot of paint out real quickly, and that's what I want. And it'll leave the finish smooth enough that it will leave a smooth texture when you go back. Now, sanding these boogers is not as straightforward. I just can't take it to it and just gouge into it. Just use a lot of force. You can't do that. When you sand paint, you've got to have a light touch. You want to create powder from the paint. And if you start to generate heat by using too much pressure, that heat will cause it to bind back together and become gummy. And it will stick to your sandpaper, and it will stick to your sword. I have so many examples of where this has happened, so let this be a lesson to remind myself and to teach you. So, very light touch. That's why you use like a 220, a low grit sandpaper, so I don't have to use a lot of pressure. And boom, that's it, all done. And I created powder. Now, look at the sandpaper, you're going to see two spots on here. Spot number 1 and spot number 2. This is where I was sanding right here. This is where I did something else before. I was just trying to get it done real quick, so I used a lot of pressure, and that's what caused the gummy flakes. And there's even some gummy flakes, get that back in the light, right here. It happens. That's why you apply light pressure. If I apply heavy pressure, I'm going to get gummy flakes on this, and I'm going to have to keep sanding. So I will start to become self-defeating by having to sand the spaces that I've sanded because the sanding is causing imperfections. All right, so here's the other spot right here, and that takes a lot of elbow grease. Ooh, look at that powder. You see it on there? Gummy flakes. Oh, there, have it right there. Right there. See? Stuck to the blade. Now, if you're not using too much pressure, it's not going to be hot enough to actually stick, so that's why I was able to flake it off. That's also why you have to keep moving it on the sandpaper. I think that's good enough for this side. Let's get the imperfections on the tip, because the bottom is really good. It's like dust fell on it. Oh, sanding yielded another imperfection right there. Light touch with sandpaper goes a long way. All right, that's done. This side was facing down, so it didn't have that issue as badly as the other side, but there's still some imperfections. That's already gotten them out. Also, if you ever repaint the surface, you have to sand. But what I just did just there, that's it. That's all you have to do. You have to scuff the surface. And if you could hear the rain, it's becoming louder, so I hope it's not affecting the volume too much. I can see it right there. There's a dot right there. I'm getting to think that I probably should have turned the camera light on. Too late. All right. Oh, goodness. Okay. Because the humidity, my fingerprints made another boo-boo. Gripping it so hard right there while sanding. So that's not like fog or anything. These are legitimate fingerprints. I gotta fix that. All right, the rest of those flaws are going to go away when I paint it. What do you think? Good sanding job? And I've got the hilt protected. I actually painted the blade first, then I painted the hilt, and then I noticed those flaws, and it's like, oh. So, I had to reverse it. So some of the hilt paint's actually going to come off on here because I didn't clear coat protect it. It's the life of a cosplay crop maker. Okay, so now I'm going to paint it enough mar in my blade. Okay, yeah, it's raining. Yeah, I'm using the camera light now. Rattle cans, because they're out. Just came out of the water bath, so I'm going to give it a couple of spritz, get it going, and I'm going to do it out here. Thank God I've got a covered porch. Really. Done. Okay, now because it's cold and raining, high humidity, it's going to really mess with the drying time of this blade, so I'm not going to be able to bring this in for at least 48 hours. If I had a drying booth, I would put this under a heat lamp and call it a day. But I don't. Last glamour shot before I call this video close. That's engraved using a laser engraver. Excited to up my ante there. Unpainted. Well, I went over it with a light spritz, and this is the freshly painted. You can see some of the flaws in there, but it came out pretty good. This is a type of chrome paint that really loves a smooth surface, so it picks up imperfections. Alright, so thanks for checking me out. The sword, that is, in the video. And thanks for watching. As always, and anybody in this industry, please don't mind the messy hair because I'm a crazy craftsman, or crafts dwarf. And speaking of crafts dwarf, do you know I do crafts dwarf style levels on my Patreon? That's just nerd humor, sorry. But if you want to become a crafts dwarf with me, you can contribute on my Patreon and I'll do more stupid things like this. Well, it wasn't that stupid, was it? That's kind of useful.